morning, Quirky Birders, it's Lynn here, and welcome to episode 1 of this week's Daily Art Challenge. Now, all this week I'm going to be uploading some short and fun and quirky little videos, and we're going to be playing around with rusty pickup trucks. Now, I've kept things quite simple for the first episode today, and we've just got a little side view of a pickup truck. Now, the line drawing for this was available on the Facebook page, so you're able to get a copy of that via Facebook. But we're just going to do a very, very simple painting today of this little pickup truck. Paintbrush wise, you can use your size 5 or size 6. It's nothing too detailed, so I'm just going to be using my size 5 brush. And we'll just make a start by just painting in some of the black details so we can build up the colour on there. So I'm going to make a start just picking up some black, and we'll just pop that into the centre of the wheels. We'll just leave a little bit of a highlight there as well, and we'll do the same on the other side. And don't worry about your lines too much, because we can actually pop some ink details in just to improve them, so they will sharpen up. And then we'll just put a little bit of black on the inside of the wheel arch. Just to give it a little bit of shading in there. Now today we're going to be painting in quite an illustrative style. We're just going to be working wet on dry. So that means that we're working with wet paint onto dry paper. And we're just going to be using nice blocks of colour. And you can play around with colour as well for your little pickup truck. So it's up to you what colour truck you actually do. And as always, this is just the base drawing, so you'll be able to play around with it and manipulate it a little bit if you wanted to, and change it for your personal use. It could be that you put some letters on the side. It could be you put something in the back. You could really change the way that this little picture appears. So we'll just pop a little bit of black on this side. Tiny little bit just underneath that wheel arch there as well. And we'll just give our little truck some black bumpers too. Okay. Now our little pickup truck has some wooden slats that just run along the back here. So we'll pop those in next. So I'm just going to use a nice shade of brown. And we'll just put some base colour down to begin with. Now when I'm doing the little wooden slats, we'll allow the paper to create some little highlights as well, so we've got a little bit of texture going on there. as always with watercolours, we're working from light to dark, so we will be going back over this little painting and putting in some extra areas of colour just to improve and intensify the colour. We can use a little bit of orange. Let's use a little bit of orangey red. We'll just pop his indicator in at the front there. Okay, and we'll create a little bit of a highlight on there. And then we can start to paint the main body of our truck. Now it's entirely up to you what colour you paint your little truck. I'm going to go for the colour blue. Again, we're going to use the white of the paper to create some little highlights, so we've got some contrast of colour as well. So I'm just going to make a start by painting the rear wheel arch of our little truck. Now do be careful when you're painting close to that black, because you do not want the black to bleed into your light blue or whichever colour you've chosen to paint your truck. So again, this is just the base colour. We'll create some areas of little bits of highlight, so let's create a little bit of a highlight over the wheel arch here. And we can also do another one on the side here. Let's just put a little bit of the blue down. There we go. You can allow the paint to pool in places, so if you have got it a little bit heavier in places, then just let it sit there, that's fine. It's just going to add to the texture and colour of your little truck. There we go, that's one wheel arch done. So let's do the next one. And again, we want to create some little highlights, so let's just bring a line over the top of that wheel arch and down. And let's run a highlight along the front there, and then another little one coming around the corner. Now I've just caught a little bit of that orange, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab a dry brush, and I'm just going to soak up that bleed. go. I just caught the smallest of corners of that. But the trick is, if that does happen, is don't panic and just get a dry brush, and then with a dry brush you can soon rectify it and just lift that away. Sometimes it creates a happy accident. So sometimes you end up with some colours that you actually think, oh, I could actually leave that as it is, but I do want that lifted away today, so that's gone. Just let that dry a little bit more actually before I go anywhere near it again. Still a little bit unstable. Okay, so let's paint in the door next. And again, let's create a little bit of a highlight on the door. We can add the door furniture to the door using the ink pen once the little painting is actually dried. So things like the little mirror, we can put a little door handle. If you wanted to sort of sign write your little truck, then now would be the time to actually leave a sort of a square area in which you could then pop in a little sign. It could be that that's the area that you contain a message for a birthday card. You could certainly use it like that. But for today, we're just going to do the basic illustration of the little pickup truck for you. So let's go around the door. And then let's just spend a few moments just getting a really nice even finish. Just going to lift away that little bit of heavy paint at the bottom there. Okay, so we can now move on to the side panel of our little truck. And again, let's just leave a couple of little areas of highlights over the side panel. So we'll just bring a line down the rear of the truck. Now when you're painting this picture, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to make sure that each panel has its own sort of separate line. So just take your time to paint each panel individually, and you'll start to see that the paint will dry and form that lovely line, and it's that line that you're going to work with. Once we've completed the overpainting, we're going to apply a little bit more colour. Bring that colour over the top of the wheel arch. And then again, just spend a few moments just getting that really nice even finish. We'll now take that colour up and over the roof and along the front of the bonnet. Like so. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is we just need to put some paint on the bonnet. And this time we just need to keep it a little bit lighter, but what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to put the shut line of the bonnet in first. So we'll bring that line of paint up to the edge there. Just make that a little bit straighter. just going to let that dry a minute before I pop in the bonnet details, so we won't go straight in there at the moment. Just going to lift away that pooling paint that's sat there, so just dry your brush off and just lift that away. There we go. And you'll notice now it's starting to dry that you've got these lovely sort of lines that are forming. A little bit of texture, a little bit of interest. So just while that's drying, I'm going to use the blue and we're just going to paint in around the wheels. Again, being careful of the black, just making sure that that's not too unstable so it doesn't bleed. So just try and make sure you've got a little area of white just around that black. I'll do the same the other side. There we go. Pop a bit more colour in this side. There we go. And then the next colour that we're going to use is the colour grey. So you can mix a little bit of your Payne's grey. You want a nice, not too pale. You do want it sort of to have some pigment to it. So we'll just use a little bit of the grey and just paint in the wheels. And again, we'll create one or two little highlights with the paper. I'll just do the same with the other wheel. Not forgetting a couple of little highlights over this side. And then whilst we've got the grey, we can just put a little bit of shading just on the window. And we'll do the same with the front screen as well. And then lastly, coming back to the colour blue, we'll put a little finer, paler colour on that bonnet. And then just using the grey, we can pop in that side step. Okay. So that's the underpainting of our little truck finished. So we've applied the blue, we've created some lovely areas of highlight, we've got the texture and the shading going on. So what we now need to do is just put one or two extra little details in, just to make the little truck kind of pop really. So we're going to go back to our wooden little rails there on the truck. I'm going to use a different shade of brown this time, just to add a little bit of contrast. Now you can then change your brush if you want to something a little bit finer. It's entirely up to you. You can go down to something like even just a size down, a size 4, or you could even go further again and use something like a size 3, size 1. So I'm going to use my little size 3 for this, and I'm just using a different shade of brown, and all I'm going to do is just apply that paint to the slats. Pop a little bit on the uprights. You can add a little bit of grey as well. Grey is a really good colour to actually add in some little bits of detail. There we go. So we'll just put a little bit more blue onto our truck. Not everywhere, just in one or two little areas. So we're going to come down in front of the wheel arch here. Follow that lovely line. Pop a little bit more detail on the front wheel arch. do the side of the truck. Quite happy with the door. The only thing I'm going to do is just add in that little shut line over the top there. And then lastly, we'll add a little bit more to the grey and the tyres. Okay. Now you can use the grey to put a little bit of shading onto that blue if you wanted to. Alternatively, what you can do is you can use a little bit of sort of orange or ochre type colour, just to sort of give the suggestion of our little truck being a little bit sort of a well-used workhorse and a little bit beaten up. So I'm just going to line the footplate with the grey. Like so. And I'm just going to bring that grey down through the doors and that shut line of the roof. And like I say, you can use grey, you can use orange, you can use the ochre colour, but the grey always does work quite nicely. Let's line the windows. And also the bed of the truck. And then I'll just do the windscreen. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm just going to let that dry and then I'll come back to it in just a little while to pop in the ink details. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so our little truck has now dried and it's time to add in the ink details. Now I'm just using a 0.3 pen for the ink details. And what we'll do to begin with is we'll start with those wooden slats. Now you can do this with a ruler if you wanted to, but as you know I prefer to do it freehand. So we're just going to outline those wooden slats. And we'll do both of those. And then let's add in the uprights. Like so. We can then follow the line for the bed of the truck. We're just going to then outline all of the pencil lines. Just take our time to do the wheels. Come around the bumper and the light. Add in the steering wheel, the windshield. Come around the door. the roof in. There we go. Now we just need to add a couple of details to our little truck. And for that we need to just change our pen to something a little bit thicker. You can use probably a 0.7, possibly not a 0.1, that goes a little bit too high, too thick, but we'll just use the 0.7. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 3 little lines here on the truck for some vents. Let's put a little vent here at the front as well. We'll do some bonnet vents too. Like so. We can add the little door handle. Then you can also add a little mirror, so I'll just do a little circle for a mirror. Just make that a little bit bigger. And there we have it. That's your basic little side view of a pickup truck completed. Now there's lots of things that you can do with this design. You could maybe put some flowers in the back. You could maybe put a little sheep or something in the back just to mix it up a little bit and just to personalise it. It could be for Valentine's Day that you have it carrying a load of little love hearts. So there's lots of things that you can actually do to this little truck. I'm going to personalise mine and I shall show you the results of the personalisation tomorrow. But I do hope you've enjoyed this video of the little basic pickup truck. Do enjoy your painting and we'll continue the series of rusty pickup